What up, what up? Welcome to another hot episode of POPradio. My name is Miss Cosmo, as I am every single episode. And of course, I don't go alone. I come with my homie, Moochie for one, baby. What's good?
What's going on? I'm loving POPradio season, man.
Yes, POPradio season's nice because we get to interact with some really awesome artists and, you know, get a little bit more. Get some juice, nyana.
I love it.
And relax from the hating.
The weekly, is it hating now? I don't even know how to call it. But weekly news, what did Noni do this week? Again. So you can make the news.
And now we can't walk on the streets. But you know, Asiko Lapo, today we are joined by the one and only Oscar Mbo. How you doing?
I'm good, guys.
Welcome to POPradio, all right?
I'm good, how you doing?
Comfy? Huh?
Very much.
Are you ready to get inside and giving us all of your juice?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So I was asking you off air, but I decided, you know what, let me save this one for the cameras because obviously with a name like Oscar, it's going to come with, you know, a couple of nicknames, nyana. And do people call you Oskido, or is that kind of safe for the Grootman only?
My whole life.
Really?
My whole life. Even people who know my nicknames that are approved.
What are approved nicknames?
They will go to Oskido regardless. Oskido, you know.
What are the approved nicknames?
I have so many nicknames. I wouldn't call them my nicknames because even my name itself, some people take it as a nickname. You know?
Yeah.
Oscar Mbo, some call me Mbo.
Yeah.
Mbowiza, Mbowizi, Mbonana, all these things. Like,
Mbonana.
Yeah, like, sing Malanyavuma.
Yeah, we're going to call you Bonanza now also.
You see what I mean? I really even can't contest that. It's just, if you're calling me and we have eye contact, you call me whatever, I have to reply.
Yeah.
So, but Oskido, yeah, my whole life, literally.
Okay. And Oskido hasn't come to you to also call you Oskido?
No.
Eh?
No.
You make sure kuti yazine yimlo.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really he calls me Oscar, so
100%. Yeah. That's dope, man. All right, so obviously getting yourself into the entertainment industry now has obviously just been a big thing because you're coming through with the deep house in a very heavily Janos era, you know? And I'm sure this is a question that you get quite often because for you to kind of stand out at this point in time must have taken something very special for you to say, I'm sticking with my guns and I'm running with it, even though this is the era for piano.
Yeah.
How did you kind of angle that for yourself to kind of stand out and for people to pay attention to your music?
I just stuck more on originality, you know, brand wise. You know, I just wanted to be myself, the music I play, who I am, you know, it kind of all led the whole thing to where it is today. And I always tell people that are close to me when you talk about such things that I tried to commercialize the deep house thing that was not meant to be consumed commercially.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of how I approach it, you know, I literally broke all the rules that were set. I mean, unsaid rules or unspoken of rules in terms of being commercial, in terms of being in a public space, in terms of playing in places where deep house is not supposed to be played according to the media or the industry. And then I just made it cool. You know, that's the word I can just use.
You know, I'm not a big house head, but every week on here, every time we speak about a lot of piano, especially it's been like piano season in South Africa for like 3 years. And when I first started hearing about your name, like I hear a lot of house DJs because I don't immediately gravitate towards the music. I always assume everybody's a piano DJ now. So when I first heard about you, I first heard your name as a DJ from my friends who listen to a lot of house music, I assumed that you're a piano DJ. Yeah. So I always I tell my friends, what are you guys going to bump today? Or Scambo, what are you bumping today? Comes to the small. And my friend used to ask me, because he's a big fan of yours, like, do you think Oscar Mbo is a piano DJ? I said, isn't it? He said, no, he's absolutely not. But your name was very prominent during a time where piano was very, very hard. You know what I'm saying? Like you stuck to your guns and you pushed, and I feel like you're one of the DJs in this country that stuck to bringing the authentic house sound at a time where piano was very, very heavy. Have you ever been swayed at any given time? Because I know your genre, but as at the time where you've been tempted to dabble, or you felt like maybe in line piano and because I mean, my talent is there for you to produce music, which is what you're really good at, you know, mixing and producing.
Answer is no. Answer is no. I've had so many approaches, you know, from industry friends who are doing piano, who are big in piano.
Yeah.
You know, now let's just do one. I'm like, nah, friends, nah. And I don't want to be lost in the whole thing, like lose my identity because of a genre,
Sure.
because now I'm gonna be losing more than gaining in my regard, because I'm gonna be losing the people who follow what I do, who have hope in what I do for themselves, for the future, who want to do what I do and have the guts to do it in such instances where piano is the only genre which is doing well, if we're being honest, in the country for the past 2-3 years post-COVID. And then for me to be able to do what I do, it means I'm going to be losing all of those people, and all that hope that I've given to someone. And besides, it's not something that I'm really passionate about. I love the sound so much. I support it. But I wouldn't really work on it and be part of it in that way.
Even on just a follow-up question, even in production wise, because I guess when it comes to production, usually you can be more free. You know what I'm saying, if like someone is just calling you to lace tracks from them, even past piano, it could be hip hop, maybe, who knows how far your talent lies. Do you see yourself dabbling in other genres just outside of the production value without?
Man. Yeah, man. I've actually been part of some few projects in that regard, but it's some of the things that we don't really want it to be known, not in a bad way,
like a ghost producing situation.
Man, it's done globally, by many people, that sometimes you don't want to fall for that type of thing because it might even raise eyebrows later, but in a sense of regard for the work that we do amongst as industry people, friends, producers, we do this a lot, to assist, and that's pretty normal for me. But for me to be to be publicly put it out there,
Have you ever had there's one thing that I've always noticed about house producers or house artists or somebody who's in the house world, is that there was always a certain time in their lives where they wanted to be in hip hop. Whether they were rapping or whether they're producing or maybe they're singing. Did you have a rap name? Because I feel like everybody that I've spoken to at some point has a rap name or a rap experience, or they were part of a rap group, or they were doing something that has to do with hip hop.
I didn't have a rap name, but I really wanted to be part of hip hop almost my whole childhood. It was just so super cool, man.
Yeah.
The life abroad. I mean, I feel like they do it perfectly. The American dream, the whole thing, the whole life in music videos, Park's story, biggest story. Even now to date, man, hip hop is like the coolest thing ever for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then seeing guys like Cool Cat, who does it effortlessly. It just makes you feel like I wish I could rap, but I can't. I just want to support the music.
So also for you, it's more about the culture than it is about you actually getting into the music scene.
Yeah. Like the culture. I'm a big fan of hip hop.
I think it comes through in your aesthetic as well.
Yeah.
And you can tell that you're a hip hop lover, because they say that about piano as well. But for house DJs, I feel like they never used to carry a very hip hop look, but I feel like you do when you look at your style, because you're a very stylish guy. You can see there's a lot of hip hop influence that comes across.
Yeah, man. Who's actually one of your favorite rappers?
I have a lot. I have a lot. 21 Savage is new. Brody Rich. I really bump a lot of trap lately,
Yes, man.
So much.
That's what we like. See, this is what we're going to do here on Pop Radio. We're converting everybody to come back to hip hop one way or another. Don't worry, guys. We're saving this thing. 2023, we're back.
Same as how I've been converted into house piano guy now. You know what I'm saying? So it's only right that we do it an exchange of sorts.
Sipo's
been converted into a Chrome listener now because he's dating a Zulu girl.
Showcase.
Of all the songs that you've kind of produced over time, I mean, there's obviously specific songs and special songs in your heart that you feel like, this one could have been the one but didn't really make it. But then there are also songs that surprised you that you've produced and you're like, I didn't think the song would actually take it this far, but shout outs. Which of those songs do you think are very special in your heart and for those reasons?
Life and Love is from my debut EP. It's quite a crazy tune because it was done in times where it wasn't nice, going through a lot of stuff in the industry, and house music was not getting attention at all, and you're a new artist and you're not getting the exposure and the love that you feel like you deserve. So my first EP was a 3-track EP, the track titled Life and Love for me is my favorite, and it's a favorite for many people, But, one of those industry coincidences that I happened to drop when some of the industry favorites at that time dropped as well, So my project was overlooked, and then was caught on by the dope DJs, like the older guys, the legends, were the ones who were giving me props, and I felt like the people who were supposed to be jumping on it missed it altogether. It was, I really felt hard done by, and then, but it just gave me more motivation to go back and work, and then later on, I dropped my debut album the very same year. Also on that album, more like the same feeling about stuff, but I understood later that at that time there was a peak for some other people who were doing well. And then the other songs, which I feel like I never paid much attention to, and they really blew up. And there's a tune I did with Skivo and vocalist called Sego, called Grateful. The first time I got some reports that it was the most tune that was played on the album, most streamed song. And then also on people's stories, it used to like be there every day. Even when you go on IG, when you search for a song, it's up there, top 3. So unexpected, but dope. And then the first one is definitely Life and Love, which I feel like it was supposed to penetrate more, but then the timing, it always happens sometimes.
And it's so sad when those things happen, because you love a song and you know what it was supposed to do. And then it's also like you're stuck now, because you're like, I can't re-release it. I can't repackage it. What do I do to kind of get people to pay attention to this thing? Have you ever thought about trying to figure out another way around getting that song to get the attention you wanted?
Yeah, man. I feel like there's a lot of factors that led to that, or that led to the type of love that I felt I was supposed to get, I couldn't get. Firstly, I was an independent artist, and I didn't have any distribution, like major distribution company working with me. So obviously that does cut out reach, in terms of how far can I push something. I'm using an online distributor from abroad. They only want to put your music out there. You won't get playlisted, you won't get promos to people, won't get radio plugins, etc., etc. So, and then when I signed through with the distributing company, they actually offered me to re-release my stuff, but I feel like the type of stuff I went through at that time, I was like over it. I just wanted to focus on the future, and like there's a lot of work that we've done. So I said, no, it's fine. I'll just have it on my catalog in any way. If people catch on it, like they will. If they don't, it's also fine. One thing though I'm really happy about is that I was able to release some of my stuff from the beginning on vinyl. So, and it's being sold globally, so people are catching on to that, and it's also
people still buy vinyl.
Yeah,
I still buy vinyl.
It's actually big.
You own a vinyl player.
I own a vinyl player. You see this attitude, Miss Cosmo. I don't know if Miss Cosmo thinks I was born in 2001.
Simple, please.
You know damn well we're the same age. Now, Oscar, I want to say, or ask rather, it seems like your come up from when you dropped your 2 projects in 2019, now going into the pandemic, that it seemed like your rise into the music industry, because I know house music is full of loyalists. You know what I'm saying? Guys, even if something may not be having a commercial knock, but within the house community, you'll find that people are very loyal and you guys support each other a lot. Do you feel like your rise coming into was very organic? Like you never really had, outside of the OGs that were bigging you up, that commercially there was never anybody who was like shouting your name, that you actually had to do it brick by brick, especially during the pandemic, because that's when your star really started to rise. Yeah,
I feel like it was organic, why I'm saying that, the point where I started to drop music was a lot of build up prior to that. As a DJ, as an artist, I have like 8 years prior before dropping my music, and in the house music industry, I don't know about other genres, people want to see your work before they support you, so they want to get convinced.
Of course.
There's no chance for a newcomer to come through and get all what he or she is supposed to get. It's kind of
it's very interesting what you're saying, actually.
Because people want to feel like you deserve it. So they want to be able to track with, this year he did this, that year he did this, the accolades. So prior to me dropping music, I had done so much work as a DJ, as a podcaster, and so there was a lot of proof, rather, for people to say, okay, cool, he's moving into a different phase, But then there's also another factor that I want to lay out, that now I'm getting to a scene where I'm coming through as a house music artist, but I don't want to focus on house music lovers. That's where the difference was with my drive in terms of my music, because I felt like the house music community is small, and with the dreams I have, the type of stuff I want to do, I won't do much with that.
What do you mean it's small? We're a house nation.
No, we're not.
What?
I promise you. In terms of how people consume music, house music is probably the less supported.
Oh, you mean from a purchase perspective?
Purchase, shows, everything. You know, and I'm not trying to, because now obviously, I mean, I'm looking at it from a different perspective. There's subgenres in house music.
Yeah.
You know, you might call what Prince KB does house music.
Yeah.
Whereas us as house music lovers is more of commercial house music.
Okay.
Now there's a subgenre to it.
Okay.
You know, and then someone like Julian Gomez or do the song will be put in as house or Afro house. So what I'm saying in terms of what I'm talking about, it means I know how the house scene is set up, and for what I want to do in terms of, because I'm not doing commercial,
right?
I wouldn't be able to tap into the same market Prince KP is or was. You know
I get you.
Yeah.
Where in the country do you think that house music is most, I want to say supported, but maybe most appreciated? Like, is there a place in South Africa where you know if you're playing, especially your genre of house music, where it doesn't have to be, maybe because deeper house music may not make it onto the really, really big stage, or maybe prime time on that stage. But where in the country do you think where you're very comfortable going to play your genre of house music, knowing that effortlessly the people are supporting?
You know, I always tell my team that I always get more excited to play in the remote areas that more of the big artists don't like traveling to, because far, you know, there's no airports. You know what I'm talking about? Because,
there's no 5-star hotels. You know, we want lap of luxury only. I'm joking, please.
I think we once shared a show in Kuruman.
No, it was in Kwakwa. Putadi Chaba. Oh yes,
Kuruman,
it was Kuruman and it was Putadi Chaba. We had both. Yeah.
But in terms of provinces, I can put it in that way. KZN has so much house music lovers.
Nice.
You know, KZN, that PMB side,
Nice.
Richards Bay, Durban.
Yeah,
they passionately love house music. You know, but otherwise, I've seen it in many places. But KZN, I can just have it like more of a standout.
Nice.
And speaking about, you just mentioned having a team. You're saying you and your team speak a lot about, I'm guessing, of course, your road team as well.
Yeah.
But musically, who are you working with when you're producing your music? Who are the people that you trust? Do you have a clutch? I know you used to have or still have like a collection of 2 other guys that you used to make music with. Do you continue to produce music together with people? How collaborative is it when you're in the studio creating a sound?
Yeah, man, I work with so many people. I believe in collaboration, you know. I work with a guy called Griffith Malo, you know, Siabonga Siplak. He's one of the greatest upcoming kids that I believe in so much, you know. And in terms of the 2 guys that I used to work with, the Golden Boys, we used to do more events more than the music part.
Okay.
You know, and then, but they are also doing music now. You know, they have their own people that they are working with. But then I'm so big on collaboration, you know. It just makes life easier because we can focus on what you can do and you excel on that, and she does the same thing. And so, like so do I. Then we save so much time.
Yeah,
we save so much time.
But also it makes it better because also from a creativity perspective, you someone else can have an idea that you possibly didn't have, and it just makes the song even better. But talking about collaboration, and I think a little bit earlier, Sipa had also asked you about how the older guys had kind of given you like dabs to say, okay, you've got a way into the music industry. You also are now automatically going to be put in a position where you're going to have to kind of pass the baton down to like up and coming house DJs. And I think you do that a little bit as well with your podcast.
Yeah.
Can you just give us a little bit of a breakdown for those who actually don't even know what your podcast is about? Just what kind of focuses on and how you work with new artists, and maybe somebody that we need to kind of pay attention to now.
Yeah. So my podcast is called The Ashmed Hour. It was formed in 2010 and I started really working in 2011. It's a house music podcast where as a DJ and myself, Ezra and Lou, we host 2 DJs per episode. Most like they just submit guest mixes and then we just put on the platform. You know, for a good 6 to 7 years, it was the most downloaded podcast in South Africa, 3rd most downloaded podcast in the world.
Wow.
And then in 2019, when I started dropping music, I took a step back from the podcast because I wanted to be signed to my own label. So I converted the podcast to the record label, you know. the same record label, which is a home for many new artists, house music artists who have done so well. Artwork Sounds, C Black, Griffith Marlowe, like a lot of cats, like Deep Escape, Deep Essentials. So it's more like I just wanted to convert the whole podcast into something that is more like moving on with times. So now we have the record label, which is the same name of the podcast, and the focus is more on the dropping music now more than the podcast itself.
But then don't you think that kind of robs the people who were listening and downloading the podcast? Clearly you have a market there, and if people wanted it, to stop it is also kind of, maybe at a disservice to you and your brand.
No, definitely. But then I just had to be honest with myself. It's just too much work.
I can imagine.
Time.
Yeah, time. And running a record label is 10 times harder, because now you have to learn your way around to things. Like the same way it took me a year to launch my podcast. I also wanted to have a way around my record label as well, getting information, owning my mistakes, because there's always going to be those type of stuff in terms of starting something new. So and I was telling the guys that I'm ready to take back the podcast to be running again. We've been dropping mixes monthly from different people, but we haven't been doing it the same way, whereas all of us are now doing something, going to studio to record, and then we drop, because now in terms of time, podcast is more when the podcast was stopped, we had changed from just dropping mixes. We're now doing visuals. So we'd go to a venue, we'd record live sets, and then those can be streamed and also be downloaded as audio. So that whole process is gang time. So hopefully in the near future, in 2023, I want to go back into it and try to rework it again properly.
Now, staying with podcast and content in general, what content are you consuming personally? And when you're not making your own, because you've dabbled in podcasts since like 2010, like you're saying, what content are you actually consuming online from other people when it comes to podcasting or in content from Instagram or Twitter, YouTube? Where are you focused in terms of like your energy? What do you like to consume in your downtime?
I'm really more into documentaries, other than checking out you guys and other podcasts, mostly when I'm traveling. I really love documentaries. Like I'm so interested in live people's stories, like where they come from, what they've been through. Compared to the older me who used to binge on series and movies, I just like to watch documentaries like lately, because I read about those type of things, and then now seeing it in visuals is just like 10 times better. So I consume so much documentaries, and I feel like it's so in touch with the reality for me, because I relate in people's stories a lot, people's mistakes, because you would never know if you would go through something similar, and you'd know what to avoid, and learn mostly for me. So I watch so many documentaries, like almost every time I have some time off, I just check out documentaries.
Which is the most recent one you've watched?
I've watched just before Leaga, who's this guy with basketball, I forgot his name.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
There was one I watched. Oh my God. Can I just check out my phone?
Yeah.
The one on Netflix.
So yeah.
The Redeem Team.
Yeah.
When they went to the Olympics.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love that as well. That's a document.
Long list of stuff that I'm watching. My goodness. And sometimes I just go around the stuff. I watch this. I pause. I watch that. I pause. So. Because now I'm going to be watching something with you.
Yeah.
And you want to tell me about this. Then I pause it. I jump onto that.
But then you don't finish.
I do at some point.
At some point when? Like next year?
I try. Because we're always on the road.
Yeah.
So I always have my iPad charged, and then my headphones.
Yeah.
Watch, compared to me bumping the music as everyone in the bus. I just watch something. And I never want to listen to the music that I play before I go to the show.
Yeah, that bores me as well, because now it just feels like you're back in the car and you're like, oh no, but I've heard the song 1,000 times already because I was listening to it in the car. I also don't do that. Half of the time, actually, when I drive, I've got the radio on. Because for me, in the car, I'm just like, I can't be listening to the same stuff. I'm going to play in the club also. And then I must, you don't get a break.
Yeah,
so I get that.
Even the people I travel with, they so enjoy my music, and at times I'm like, okay, can you give it a break? Play amapiano. And then we go into that. And then they also complain, we can't be playing amapiano because we are going to hear amapiano after the set.
Yes.
So, no. And then, so hence I'm always like watching something, if not, then I'm like streaming football matches.
Oh, nice.
What team do you support?
Sorry?
What team do you support? Football?
Here.
Local, both?
Yeah, I'm even embarrassed to say, man.
Don't be embarrassed. It's okay. We all
I
have
think you
bad
guys
seasons.
know teammate Luai carrying to so much in the country, man. Kaizer Chiefs.
Kaizer Chiefs. But we had a good game. Come on.
Okay, I
The
mean, you
derby.
beat-
Come on. The
As a
derby.
Pirates fan, you guys beat us, so at least you have the current bragging rights. So it's not so bad.
Yeah, I'm Kaizer Chiefs here and then Real Madrid abroad.
Really?
Yeah.
And EPL?
I don't support any team in EPL.
Really?
I used to support Manchester United, and then they went through a whole crazy phase.
Yeah, I'm glad you said used to and you let it go.
I did.
We used to get a lot of bashing to say, how are you still an Arsenal fan in 2020?
Yeah.
And I said, look now, 2022, we're back, boys. Don't worry.
Manchester United will be back.
Because I feel like the style of EPL I really don't like it as much in terms of the type of football that I like. I just like to watch it, but not really to support any team in specific because of how Manchester really went from being as big as they were to what they are.
So
right
you
now.
don't
It's
like
crazy.
to support when they go through down seasons? Yabo when you're stressed.
No.
You're going to say, we're going through a bad patch.
That's a dip.
No. You know what my thing is? These teams have so much budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like just like events. If you're an events person, you got so much budget, you will always go for the best.
Yeah.
To make it an experience before making money for yourself, an experience for people who are coming, and for like on the day you host, that anyone who sees 6 posters, they want to choose yours because you have the best artists and you have the best everything. So Manchester does have the budget. What's going on?
Hey man, it's football. It happens sometimes.
He's also a Man United fan. He's just scared to say it out loud.
Hey man, it's football. It's hard to explain. I mean, you could bring it back home and have the same conversation about Chiefs and Pirates.
You bring it home because Pirates is winning. Otherwise,
no, but I'm just saying, even them, it's been a long time since they've actually dominated. It used to be Chiefs and Pirates, and they're very not. Locally, it's those two and Sundowns that have really big budget. The other teams are struggling in terms of. So those three should be
Royal AM
dominating. Yes. But those three used to dominate and they had budget more than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? There's smaller teams that can't really compete with like Kaizer Chiefs budget. And Kaizer Chiefs should be, and Orlando Pirates should be attracting all the biggest talent there. 100%. But again, you realize it's more than that. Sometimes you go through a dip, then we get to other things now. There's coaches, there's morale. There's
dip for 8 years.
Man, it's a dip. Liverpool didn't win the league for over 20 years.
Yes, and then
but they don't have budget.
Yeah, but sometimes they're a little bit stingy. There was a time even with Arsenal where they went to a point where they were talking about, we're busy rebuilding the stadium, and that when it was Arsene Wenger and he wasn't focused on spending a lot of money because he was looking at the balance sheet. It's like, my man, are you a coach or are you an accountant? You know what I'm saying? All these teams, Barcelona, look how much financial trouble they've been in now because they just spend. Manchester United, same thing. Spending lots of money even though you're also in debt. You can, from the Madrids, there's very few teams that are very, very big that don't have, that keep spending a lot of money to try and get to the top, but sometimes it's at a loss, and then you have to start balancing that because now you're a big club, you're worth a lot, but the money that you're spending versus the trophies that you're bringing in is another long story.
I get you.
It's tricky, that one, but coming back to Oscar, because clearly, he definitely consumes a lot of content, whether it be documentaries or whether it be football, but I think anybody who recognizes you and recognizes your brand also recognizes that you also vary into your fashion style and the way that you dress and how you kind of present yourself. Are there specific people that you follow on social media that where you sit back and you're like, you know what, I really enjoy this designer or this stylist or this type of style that kind of influences you whenever you go shopping?
Yeah, so many people. So many people. Most of them are not big because I know this question, sometimes people like to reference it to someone who's, for me, style is not about brands, Sometimes,
really?
I promise you.
We're going to unpack that one. Okay.
Yeah, there used to be a guy I used to go to varsity with, man, and that guy used to do the most simplest fits, but they used to be so nice. And that's what I mean, in terms of a white clean shirt, tailored pants, ankle showing, right type of shoe on the foot. That's what I'm talking about. So I follow a lot of people, and because of the type of pages that I follow, type of people that I follow, my explore is full of similar stuff.
Of course, yeah.
So there are a lot of people that I follow. Mostly they're abroad, some are here, but I do follow a lot of people who love fashion, who've got style, who like style, but it's not really about brands.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to try and, get a little bit more out of you from that, because I think if, as an onlooker, maybe I might look at it that you see brands as something that's important for your style because of the types of brands that you wear.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with you. Style is something that you kind of put together, because you could easily look like a shopping bag just walking around, because you've gone to the most expensive shop. It's also about how you kind of put the pieces together for you to be stylish.
Yeah.
But as somebody who's possibly just going through your page, we wouldn't agree with that.
Okay.
So how do you then make sense of the brands that you wear to the comment that you just made about style?
Look, the crazy thing about this is that you have to go through it before you can understand it. Maybe because of what type of stuff that I like. There's pants that I would buy from X brand. And there's pants that I could buy from this brand. So there's a few factors that are different in terms of the material, in terms of the fit, mostly the fit. The bigger brands get those things right because they have the best of everything, obviously. And then you find there's a person who's upcoming, or there's a brand which is upcoming, misses a few type of stuff, which really is a huge factor on how a fit looks. But those are type of stuff that you can only get in such type of conversations. So when and now you tap into brands, like the brand talk in terms of the fashion overview, there are some brands where you can just fit something and then it just fits a lot of outfits in your mind.
Okay.
By fit, by quality.
Okay.
And then this type of stuff that you can fit from someone or from a brand that needs a lot of tailoring, a lot of this and that. It can limit you to 1 to 3 type of outfits, or you can match with whatever. So that's where the difference is when it comes to brands and their quality and those type of things. That is those factors which are huge, which you can get for them, that they can give you that type of what word can I use?
Aesthetic
options
option,
rather,
okay.
And feel, because as much as something looks good, it needs to also, be comfortable and feel like the way that you want. Me growing up, I used to tailor a lot of stuff of mine. I was telling a friend the other day that I have so many items that I regret tailoring because they were so dope, but they were so big on me. And I felt like at that time where the fashion phase was, looking baggy wasn't gonna be the look and feel of that time.
Yeah.
But now looking back at I have to give them away because now it's the baggy season, and I wish I didn't do what I did. So
was it like a skinny jean season?
You know what I mean?
Not the bootleg or wide leg thing. But do you think that because people like when they follow you online, I guess maybe it's the content that you put out there, Oguti, of course you don't put out every single outfit that you wear every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at you right now, and you I'd imagine that more often than not you're probably you're styling your pieces in a more simpler way like this, versus when people look online, what you put out there mostly is when it's the LV, they see the Gucci, they see the, even if it's just a hat or it's just a skipa, so people focus on that because then they look at you as that guy. They be like, I know this guy. So when they post a picture, there's gonna be some very expensive brand involved there. But maybe that's a picture you posted just once this week, but all the other days we didn't see. Are you saying that because that's what you put out, it's not all of what you are, or it's not your main focus of your style, what people look at when they look on your Instagram?
Yeah, I'm saying it that way, and I'm also saying that in terms of me, I'm also still exploring. Now I'm able to differentiate with, okay, if you want this particular pants, like for them to fit like this brand can provide that. It's more like learning through the whole thing. Especially having to have the opportunity of being able to shop abroad, you are able to now to notice that, okay, cool, actually shopping online does limit you in terms of how you can actually see how these things are in kind of like compared to me going on my phone and say, cool, this looks dope, and then when it arrives, a whole different thing altogether.
Hey, that's my problem with online shopping, eh?
Yeah.
I'm so scared of that thing because the sizing, it's always so tricky.
Yeah, exactly my point. You see, now you know that extra large way brand is so. Fun.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you learn that as much as you go into it.
Yeah.
You know, you like the keywords learn.
Yeah.
So you get to know now. And okay, sharp. Now when I want more baggy-face, I'm gonna go to Y3.
Yeah.
When I want much more postcards, I'm gonna go to this brand.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Blah.
And now staying with the sorry to cut you off. So staying with the labels, do you think that I don't know if it's a South African thing, but now because you put out all these labels all the time, people focus on that. Us guys, a guy who's going to wear LV the entire day. Do you think that's fueled the fact that a lot of people online like attacking you now and saying like, nah, man, there's no way this guy is rocking LV every day. It has to be fake. This Gucci that he's wearing has to be fake. What do you think the obsession comes from? Where people now have gone from admiring to loving to now even forming like a clique of people online who are like, and like, no, there's no way this guy is wearing the original shit every day.
They're calling you a scammer. How do you feel?
I have no feeling against that.
I'm being facetious, sorry, by the way.
No. I have no feeling against that. I'll answer your question first.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I'm really definitely sure about what we want as human beings on this earth. Is money and love.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't experience this thing in your life, you're gonna look life in a different way.
Yeah.
So up until people can experience a lot of stuff, mostly money, I really don't take such things to heart, you know, because you cannot be in my pocket on what I can afford and how I spend my money on, you know what I mean? So once you get into that, I feel like it's much more emotional, it's much more personal, you know. But then when you look at the people who actually can afford, why are they quiet?
Have you had anybody ask you whether certain items are real or fake?
Like to your face?
Actually come to you and be like, I'll put my prior, I'll put this one, I'm not sure about this one.
No, I've never got that.
So people are just saying it online, they're not necessarily saying it to you.
I don't know whether they say in real life or online, but I've never gotten that. And like I said earlier on before, I said I want to answer him first, that I really don't focus on those type of things.
Okay.
Because I know that I make gang money and I know where I spend my money.
Yes, we're not boy. Okay, Malian Kenda.
No, like that's not even.
I'm being silly, man. Please, you're taking me way too seriously.
No, I'm not taking you serious. It's something that I really don't really talk about.
I hear you. Yeah.
Like this thing was Krumanga manje for sure. Ever. Even with my close people, we just always laugh about it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But we never really get into depths of it because I know what's really going on in my life, and people who are close to me, people who help me and know exactly what's really going on. So if you want to turn that thing from love to envy because of affordability and stuff like that, that's personal and I'm okay with it. You know, once you get to a stage where you're able to say, okay, cool, now I've got this, now I can tap into this, and then yes, you know, then you're going to understand. But up until then, I've got no really anything to say to those type of things.
I think that's also the tricky thing just about being a public figure, and it's obviously something that you're dealing with because your brand has grown so much in the past 2 years that you probably didn't have to answer to all of these people before, and now you're out here just trying to live your life. You're just trying to, you know, enjoy your money that you're working so hard for every day. But also the social media pressures of kind of getting into a space like this where you wanted to take your brand to a different space now, but you're also having to deal with a lot more questions and ridicule, and maybe people are trying to pick you apart. What keeps you so strong for you to then say, I'm still going to push on and do what I need to do? Because you can only ignore it for so far. At some point, maybe some comments might even get to you.
No, to me it doesn't. I don't know, maybe because I know myself, you know, maybe because I'm true to myself, and I know what I'm doing, like why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not really about the
people,
the fame itself, you know. I've got a whole ground root of what I'm doing, and it's beyond being placed in a particular position of being a person of this nature. That's not my life. That's not me. You know, my life is being able to be blessed and to understand my blessing of doing what I love on a daily and working on it, which has no pressure at all for me. So many people really want that, and I mean, I don't take it lightly. You know, I focus on my work. I focus on the thing that I want to achieve. You know, whatever it comes with, it's expected. You know, probably there's gonna be worse in the future. It might be less or worse. It doesn't matter. But I know that that's not the part of the package that I'm interested in.
Okay.
You know, me looking good, me doing whatever I do. That's that's me. You mustn't be worried about that. That's me. Focus on what I'm bringing to you, which is the music. You know, if you can't focus on that, you can do the rest and stay this side, you know. But what I came into the industry for, why I'm here, I didn't choose to be a public figure. I didn't say I want to do music, I want to be famous, I want to do this,
But you did. The moment you take a decision to say, I want to go commercial, the moment you want to get yourself out of a certain bracket of house lovers, you're saying, I want to be appealing to the rest of the country.
No, I'm not saying that. That's not true. I can name many people for you, but obviously it's going to be offensive because I've never had such chats with them in person. Yeah. But there's many people who do this thing who are not on the forefront.
Okay.
But they're influential in a sense. They are everywhere.
Okay.
With their art.
Yeah.
So, I'm known. And I'm there and I'm using my platforms the way I want to.
Yeah.
Whereas I can be a ghost as well. And my work does be there. So when I'm saying to you, I want to be commercial with the music I want to do, but I'm breaking the rules. I'm not saying I'm doing it the other way is wrong, but I'm trying to say I'm trying to break all the boundaries altogether with the art. With the art. Yes. Whatever comes with the art, which is me. So we're going to focus on this, but the art. My music has gotten into places where a lot of people's music hasn't gotten into it.
Yeah.
For the type of music that I do.
Yeah.
My brand, overall. So, that's what I'm talking about in terms of that. So if you're saying I'm using my platforms in a sense which I can also showcase my music or what I do and also showcase the t-shirt that I'm wearing, it's up to you what you focus on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
My approach is this. Whatever it comes with from your end, that's on you. One fight.
Now I get that to an extent. You're saying, I completely understand what you're saying. It's a byproduct of what you do. If it comes with fame, you're never chasing it, but unfortunately it just comes with it. But it's not your focus. You don't wake up every morning saying, I want to be more famous. Yeah. You're saying, I want to make more music. I want to be more places and collaborate with more people. And whatever that comes with, it comes with. I guess I can understand that. Going back to the fashion, just one more question about that that I had is, do you think you could see yourself producing any sort of fashion line, collaborating with the fashion house to create your own look, to create a line with anybody? Do you see that in your future? Is it something that you're interested in?
Yeah, man. It's something I've been working in for the past 4 years.
Nice.
Most of the stuff that we're working on has never went public yet. I'm working with 6 different brands. 2 from abroad, 4 from SA, and I'm very big on timing. Yeah. I feel like timing really. If you remember our conversation earlier on, we spoke about how I felt about some of my projects coming at a time where it was other people's time.
Yeah.
So that taught me how to move around. So I'm at a position where my music is doing well, and people are consuming it the way that I want. I'm not taking too much of it. I'm not taking any less of it. Like that, the timing is perfect. I don't want to overconsume my audience of saying, okay, cool, now there's this, there's that, because I feel like they're gonna miss what's really going on. So I want to tell my story musically, and then when the time is right, I'm going to be able to move on. Currently, I'm traveling a lot, trying to get the proper fabric, like a proper way on how I'm going to be able to take out what I want to take out,
Yeah.
But I'm not really holding back on the collaborations, like with the brands. If they want, okay, sharp, now we're going to take out our line of bags, of which we just did like 2 months ago, where there's like the brand I'm working with, which is going to be dropping my bags. I'm not going to say stop that, but as long as it comes from that brand approach, then yeah. But for me, there's a certain time that I'm working for, like that I'm waiting for, where everything is like thumbs up from my end, and I can be able to push that part.
That's so dope, man. I think a lot of people who possibly even look to you for fashion inspiration might be very keen to kind of hear a little bit more about that. So I'm keen. It's always nice to kind of see somebody who pays attention to how they look and how they present themselves, because I mean, It's always what you see first before you
course.
hear anything else, or before you try and tell me lies, because the lies follow after you see what you see. I'm kidding, man. All right. So also just from your brand strategy and for instance, now you just had that video that was trending. I think it's on like 1.3 million views. There's a video that you posted on your Instagram and it's doing so well. Is there a way that you kind of curate your digital strategy in the way that you put yourself out on social media, or is it something where you feel like if it's organic and it's something I want to post right now, that's what's going up?
It's crazy. All of the videos that have been trending, I'm not the one who posted them.
Really?
Yeah.
When you ask Javel and Jagumnandi, Sebumnandini.
I'm a Groovy anyway. So that video was taken by my videographer, and then few days later I was actually online on IG and I got a request to collaborate.
Yeah.
And then I saw the video, I'm like, okay, cool. Because he's also doing some other work out of my brand.
Okay.
So I'm like, he's putting out some stuff to show his people what he can do. And it's like a cool video also, dancing, having fun. And then I just accepted the video. And then next thing is viral. It's everywhere. It's funny, when you walked in here, I was on TikTok. Then on the homepage, every time I open TikTok, I'm there, I'm dancing. But I never post like those type of things. So it's not really... strategy in terms of brand wise. It's more like things that people get whenever we're having fun, whether they consume it or they take it like by themselves, or they consume it from my photographers pages or whatever.
Yeah.
As it's just like I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
And people maybe like it as well.
So man, that's so dope. And I think it also kind of fits in so nicely, especially with your new album that you've just dropped. I mean, calling yourself Don Groovy, and you've got an album out, Groovy Since 90 something. What is it about this album that's also just a little bit more different to the previous stuff that you've released, that you're also saying, okay, it's my time now and this is what you need to kind of focus on?
It's more like house music taking a whole different phase, in terms of the direction, we trying to make our own wave, if I can put it that way, in terms of music, in terms of what we make from studio and get it out there. So Groovy Since 90 something is more of a product of what is coming from a single that we dropped last year called Asambeni, which is double platinum. In the Amapiano era.
Yeah. Sir.
We gotta keep the props with you.
Don't hate. She ain't giving you horns that this. She's just staring at you like this.
I was looking at her, I was like, I think this is the moment. Let's go.
Yeah, man. So in terms of the strategy of how the whole sound is going, we are just trying to redefine, like break more rules, like I said earlier on, in terms of telling our own stories our own way. Yeah. So Groovy Since 90 something is more like our own wave of sound. We call it groove, the genre that we focusing on now, where people can dance, where you, as a DJ, you can play after my piano DJ, people will dance, So not the whole thing that was made for house to be like curtain raiser or to be played for 20 people, or at a place which is specific, for a Mahot man. Most times there was the whole thing about house that was being put for or their own audience and stuff like that, like the smaller community. So Groovy Since 90 something is more of a celebration of what I'm trying to say about that. We're trying to make our own thing, and it's really working. The people are loving it. It just feels good.
Yeah, man.
It just feels good.
In terms of like international people that consume your music, where have you seen a lot of love outside of SA? Even maybe travel to, I know in terms of other countries, you're touching Zim and whatnot. Where internationally? Because we know, first of all, in terms of the European market, if we think about the Black Coffees and the Timbers of this world, how well they're doing that side. Do you see yourself spending a lot of time touring Europe? Do you see yourself also ending up doing residencies that side and taking your music there, maybe even dabbling into their sound of house?
Yeah. The biggest love that I can say I got was London. Nice. Even when we check out my stats in terms of the most streamed countries, London has got much more of like big love. I did my tour there in August, and I'm going back now before the year ends. So it does feel good, you know, especially tapping into a whole different market, a whole different type of scene, people, you know. And yeah, man, it is my aspiration to work more abroad, you know, do a lot of stuff, residencies, do more shows, which is really happening more like next year. You know, got some of my stuff lined up, and we're going to be able to also bring in through the new talent through the label, you know, and carry on them through to that side. And yeah, while I was in London, we were able to do some collaborations with the guys, you know.
Right.
They do a lot of genres that side, you know. I was also able to transfer information, you know, like link them up. Some guys are doing amapiano that side, but they call it ama.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
They call it ama, you know. And then I was able to connect a few producers and vocalists with other guys, blah blah blah. Since I'm not involved like with the genre itself,
Yeah.
you know. Although like we do some sessions where it's focused on that, you can also add your, you know, like your knowledge on what can be done or what cannot be done. Like for instance, of where the sound is right now, what to remove or like what to add. So going abroad, being abroad on a much more regular basis is really a dream that definitely I'm working on. I feel like I've done so much in this side, you know. We keep on working, we keep on doing so much, but I feel like I really want to tap into a new market, and hopefully in the next 3 to 4 years we can like make it a permanent thing.
Nice, man. You know, you seem like somebody who's a purist at heart, you know, and a purist in all forms, whether it be house music or whether it just be producing, whether it just be as a DJ. And you take your craft very seriously to a point where you want serious people, or like people who understand the music to kind of pour a lot of themselves into it. Now, there's also just been a little bit of an influx, and I asked this also as a DJ, an influx of other people who possibly maybe didn't start as DJs, maybe they've started in different spaces in the entertainment industry, some people who possibly even crossed over and changed genres. How do you feel about people kind of, you know, coming into DJing and seeing it as like maybe it's a quick fix, or maybe it's something that's cool for now where everybody's a DJ? How do you feel about that influx of people?
For me, it's heartbreaking. You
Really,
know?
Yeah.
Mostly because before DJing was cool, before DJing pays like it does,
Yeah.
you know, before DJing is more like the center of South African entertainment. Before all of that, it was quite difficult even getting paid what you think you're worth in this industry, you know, and we had to fight for that, you know. We are the activists of this thing, and then for people to come through and then take it as a joke, you know, and do all these funny things. For me, it's like, it's really heartbreaking, you know. I feel like the least you can do is just respect the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, because it has changed so many lives. It continues to do so, you know. I was just telling a friend just yesterday, I'm like, amapiano is the most talent opening genre South Africa has ever had. We've got so many talent that we've discovered through amapiano.
Every week.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because it's in real time. You discover a person today, a few months later, you see how much they've changed.
Yeah.
How much they're helping their families, you know, and like for themselves. It's in real time. I really love that so much, you know. So it does go to DJing as well, you know. Everything is just going to a different direction, and like people can make a living out of it now.
Yeah.
And for them to just, you know, play around with it is really heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
And as much as I can notice it, I really can't speak on it, you know.
That's also true. Like, there's no way you can stop it either.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
you just
It's tricky, man. But now also speaking about changing lives and changing families, and the fact that DJing is making so much money, and a lot of urban music locally, you know what I'm saying, from hip hop, amapiano, house music, it's changed a lot of people's lives, especially over the last, I would say, maybe the greater part of the last half a decade or so. People have really been able to make a lot of money. And with growth comes not just growth of yourself, but growth of your team. And if your team grows, more money is being made. And I know recently that you but experienced having somebody in your team who wasn't there for the right reasons and had to, of course, let them go. What do you think led up to the fact that you're somebody in your management team started taking advantage of the fact that you're so busy? The company, if I can say, the label is making so much money that they felt like, I can walk away with a little sum for myself on the side. Start hurting the brand, maybe even, because that's what it does eventually. First they're stealing, but on top of just stealing from money from the company, they're also hurting your brand because they're taking bookings without. You're not showing up certain places. People are asking, "Where's Oscar?" No, I wasn't booked for this. They're double booking you. So that entire ecosystem now, I know it can build distrust amongst people that are inside your team. How did you handle that entire situation, and also how did you find out?
Man, the whole thing is really heartbreaking. Because it was done by someone I really love and someone I really had hopes of them doing something for themselves based on what we can do. And then boom, you like such things. I honor my shows. I really respect people who book me. I really respect people who come to shows because I know how expensive it is. To go to an event, there's transport, there's
to even host an event.
You know what I mean? So now I'm looking first from the consumer's point of view, how they prepare, and then you come to the host who spends so much money, to fly me and my team, accommodation, and then there's a booking fee, and then the stuff like there's marketing, there's whatever, and then boom, I'm not there because I don't know about those type of things, and it's really heartbreaking because now I love what I do. First and foremost, I feel like people know that, and I feel like that's why I get so much love, because people know that I love what I do. So when the whole thing really happened, I was abroad, and on me coming back, there's people who obviously we've made a communication to some people that we're gonna be available from here until then from here until then we were not around. And then prior to me coming back, I'm getting so much shows, and for me it doesn't make sense, because yes, we do so much shows every weekend, but I was coming back on the spring weekend, like the first weekend of September, and I had like 20 shows, and I'm like, no, it's impossible. Because it doesn't make sense with the traveling on ground, whether you're flying, it doesn't make sense. So we started to look into it, and then we're speaking to each and every promoter who's talking to my team, and then now starting to gather POPs. Okay, cool. Who paid? Who didn't pay? Where's the poster from here? So now we're doing everything like properly, and then we're getting so many issues, and it's from one particular a bank, or bank account, like, okay, cool. There's a problem here. Immediately I called my lawyer and my accountant, and then obviously they had to go through everything, and then I was told of what's really going on, and now the fear was how long has it been going on. So we had to go through that, and then after we did our own internal thing, we had to go legally, as it's still part of legal, but such things you get to see them through the blessings, because like now, like you also said, there's so much work, so it's easy to miss so much tiny information, but whereas it does so much damage to the brand, because now it looks like you're not an honest person and stuff, and but that's how we found out, and we are busy dealing with that, and I mean, hopefully we're just gonna get over it. I mean, I'm really over the whole thing, I don't wanna lie, because even through the whole thing, I did some shows for free, like
to make up for it, because that's the tricky part also, is that when things like that happen, you also have now an obligation to the promoter, not necessarily to the promoter, rather to your fans, because you also don't want to come across as the person, because you have to now rebuild your brand. You don't want to suffer because this person made a mistake. Now you're the one who has to pay for it, and you have to take that on the chin and be like, you know what, let me just go so I can save the relationship, because you have to go back to that place.
Really, like for me, it was really about the relationship. It was more of like when we get to discover how much someone spent for us to come to a place. It was more than a booking for me. And I really felt heartbroken, because now this person might have spent his last money, to bring me somewhere, and then me now can't make it for such reasons. Some we really couldn't do. Some people, just to show how genuine, like they really wanted this to happen, they had to book twice. So they've done the booking for that show. Now they're booking now, and they're also helping us legally. So to Tina, we really don't care. That happened. It's okay. Let's get over it. But we need you for the show, and like those things are really sad, man. Because now, why? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Why? Yeah.
Ish, and that's the thing with legal battles. You'll only be able to deal with it on the other side. But I'm sure even just from a trust perspective, it's going to be hard for you now to even like work with new people or even get people onto your team, because you have to now re-strategize the way that you manage the finances and everything, internally.
Yeah. Now we're going to be dealing with professionals. So.
Yeah. Now you're going to move on up. All right. So before we kind of wrap up, I do want to know, with everything that you've kind of gone through, you've gone through a lot of experiences, especially even in the past 3 years, but you still have so much more that you're working towards. There's still so much more that you want to achieve. At the end of it all, what's the legacy that you want to leave?
The legacy from my name, or for the person that I am, I want to be known as the guy who broke boundaries and the guy who was helpful to new artists. That's definitely those are two things that I want to really focus on and want to be known for, because with what I've done so far in the industry, or for my genre, is more of things that have not been done before, or the way that have been done before, and that feels good, and me with what I've done and where I am right now, I really want to assist the new kid, like the one who has no hope, who has no direction, but only has the art. That's what I really want to be known for, the person who was able to assist and be able to keep the whole groove going on.
Yeah, man.
Now, Oscar, I feel like definitely you're definitely a DJ that South Africa will one day be able to say that that's our guy on the global stage. The same way that we have all these other guys, like I mentioned about Black Coffee. I feel like just from your skill set alone, and then add with the work ethic, because they always say the skill is not enough or the talent is not enough. You gotta have everything else, and I feel like you're the full package. And I mean, your star keeps rising, and I know that the world is where the next your next playground is going to be. And I feel like, yeah, man, it's gonna be dope to witness.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining us today on Pop Radio, and we're gonna be supporting and watching and making sure that we're behind you 100%. Where else what can people look forward to, maybe say for the rest of the festive season before we get into the new year?
Yeah. So I dropped an album in July. So I won't be dropping any music towards the end of the year, but I worked on a couple of projects. Murder.
Oh, nice.
He dropped an album, and there's a hit song I'm featured on, track 2, Mohegan Sun. It's very hard to check it out. The name of that album is Asante. There's a project I'm featured on by Vanko, who's also doing very well, house music. There's a song there, Amazing, that's also dropped last week, same day with Murder's album. And there's a tune I'm doing with Big Star hip hop.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't heard Big Star in a while. Okay.
Yeah, we dropping it in the next couple of few weeks. We're shooting from Monday, so we want to have a full package. So we worked on something very dope, very urban, very
Big Star, what I like about him, he's outside of being a really dope rapper, he's also a really good musician. He knows how to kind of package and produce songs to make it sound more musical than just raps, So I'm quite keen and excited to hear what that's gonna sound like,
Yeah, so that's coming through, and then I'm dropping 2 music videos also from my album. Other than that, just the touring, being all over the show. And then music from my side is gonna be next year. Also dropping a feature with the artist from the UK in December. So everything's going to be on my socials. I'm just dealing with more collaborations, like right now. Even now, I'm going to studio. I'm usually working with a pop artist, but
nice.
we really can't talk about now, and also a hip hop artist. So all those things are going to be for early next year. So yeah.
Nice, that's beautiful,
dope, man.
I'm quite keen to actually hear all of those collaborations and how they're all going to pan out. And you know what, all we can do is support you and love you, and thank you so much again for your time and coming through here on Pop Radio.
Thank you,
sir.
Yeah, man. And there you have it, Oscar Mbizas, Oskiro Wabambosa. Which one is it? Bonanza.
Mabi. Moisto. Shout out one time.